All right, so before we talk about Daredevil Born Again episode 7, minutes before I recorded this review, I started recording this. It was publicly announced that Val Kilmer passed away. And I just wanted to comment on that because Val Kilmer has been in a lot of movies in my life that are some of my favorites, including Heat, True Romance, Top Gun, The Prince of Egypt, The Outsiders. I mean, this has been somebody who I have watched since I was a very little kid in a lot of my favorite films. And it was just announced that he passed away. He had a hard life near the end with the throat cancer and everything. And seeing him in Top Gun Maverick was heartwarming while also heartbreaking. And they figured out a way to bring him in and still, you know, have it be respectful to the real Val Kilmer, to the man as well as the character he played in Top Gun, Iceman. You know, it's a damn shame, and he was only 65. I do have condolences for his family, his wife, his kid. It's just a bummer, man. It just came out right before I started recording. So rest in peace to Val Kilmer. Also, of course, he was Batman in Batman Forever, which I think is an underrated role for him. I think he wasn't the best Batman, but I don't think his portrayal of Batman was bad at all. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Daredevil, Born Again, Season 1, Episode 7, Art for Art's Sake. Here, we take a bit of a deeper look into the vigilante, well, not the vigilante, the villain known as Muse. We saw, of course, Daredevil take him out in the previous episode, get him arrested. This episode sort of dealt with the aftermath of that because now Wilson Fisk is being told that Daredevil might actually be back, and he seems to be a bit skeptical about it. He seems to be, a little unsure that this is really going on. They're doing the thing where people are starting to notice weird bruising on Murdoch, kind of like what happened way back in the beginning of the series. There was some good backstory on Bastion Cooper, which is Muse. He ends up killing his own therapist. What a sadistic, just uncontrollable killer this guy was. And part of me was sort of hoping he would be around a little bit longer than he was. He ended up getting killed in this episode in a very dramatic scene involving Daredevil. But he's a character that I really wanted to learn more about in this universe. I think he certainly fits in with Daredevil, and he's somebody who I was thinking might end up being like a show-long bad guy, but no, he was just there, I guess, in a way to bring, like, they wrote him in to bring Daredevil out of retirement, and Wilson Fisk himself is sort of dealing with that. Now, this episode also explored a bit more of Wilson Fisk being, well, for lack of a better term, a corrupt politician who's really a criminal inside the body of a politician. Kingpin has his own way of doing things, and it's, the mafia, he's a mafia guy, but at the same time, Michael Franchise, who has a YouTube channel where he goes over mafia stuff. He's a former member of one of the crime families. He has a book where he says that the government is the new mafia. The government is the mafia. A bit conspiratorial, but not incorrect in the points he makes. A lot of government, a lot of politicians have dark sides. I would say probably all of them do. That's why I have issues trusting them. So this series explores what would happen if somebody who's an actual Marvel supervillain got real power, as mayor of New York. And even though he's kind of in disbelief, he wants to keep the Daredevil thing, private. And so there's like a whole scene here where he basically decides to, instead of giving credit to Daredevil, take credit and give credit to the police force, the anti vigilante task force that he created as the ones who stopped Muse. And so, that whole thing was interesting. It seems like he's going to be taking credit for what Daredevil does, probably a bit more. There's only a couple of episodes left of season 1 of Born Again. So, I do that again. That's why I thought that Muse going to be around longer, because there's not too much left. But he basically takes credit for it. And hey, you know what? It's bad, but it's better than that lady actually being killed, or any more victims being killed by Muse. And surprisingly enough, Muse was not the only character to meet his end in this episode, because we also saw the end of Luca. That again, another character that I thought was going to be. I thought they were going to sort of do the thing where chaos would ensue in the last couple of episodes, and then we'd see a lot of people die. But here we are in episode 7. I'm okay with that. I am okay with it. I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm just saying I was surprised he didn't last longer. The last scene of this episode, which really shows again how Vanessa Fisk is just as bad as Kingpin. It kind of reminds me of Sophia Falcone from the Penguin show. It reminds me of that character. And, this sort of person that you look at unsuspecting. You would think that Vanessa would be someone that Wilson would keep away from the life. And Wilson, he did for a while, and she would be against it, but she's in it, and Luca ends up being set up just to fall. So he's a goner. I actually love the ending of the episode. I actually find it amusing that a lot of the episodes end with Kingpin eating. That seems to be a recurring theme in Daredevil. But I enjoyed the episode. I really did. I'm very much looking forward to the final 2 coming up on the 8th and on the 15th, the day after my birthday. Should be a good time. So we'll see how the finale of season 1 goes, and we know season 2 is coming, so the story is not over. Anyways, y'all, so those are my thoughts on Daredevil Born Again, season 1, episode 7. Feel free to leave yours in the comments below if there's anything you think that maybe I don't go over everything in these reviews, but if there's a specific plot point you want to discuss, drop it down there, and I will see you guys in the next one. So, Wilson and the Devil of Hell's Kitchen are indeed back. Take care.